Hey everyone, a very good question about feelings and bypass. Um, Hi, I've just now explored the feelings, constriction, heat in the eyes, with the belief of not likable. And I can see that it's not true, that it's momentary identity, the mind creating separation. It also seems that noticing that chased off the feelings. Can that be spiritual bypass to avoid feeling? Good question. And the answer is no, isn't it? Because spiritual bypass to is basically to avoid feeling the feelings. It's to avoid um, being so intimate with the reality as it appears, with what the mind creates, and that avoidance maintains it all. Even though there's temporary numbing, there's temporary distraction, avoidance, really it's all still there. It's not going anywhere. Sorry for the rattling, that's my cat eating the biscuits. The What's happening here is what I would call a real peak experience, because the listener the previous message was that they'd had a interaction with some friends, and this feeling of not being worthy, not deserving friendship, that if the listener stayed around long enough, the friends would realize how unlikable the listener really was. And so a real peak experience is in the midst of that suffering, in the midst of that belief, staying in it, really staying in it as open attention, which is open attention to feel every sensation that's going on in the body, really open, fully open to the suffering. And at the same time, being so in it, so intimate with it, that there is actually the possibility of that shift from projection, from the old conditioning of trauma and wounds, projecting out this idea of what people think of us, of what we are, of this sort of conceptual reality that we live in. The shift from that to that realization that none of that is true. None of it's true. And it can only really happen in it. That shift can't take place when we're numbing, when we're distracting ourselves and going off, we're finding different ways to sort of boost the ego or switch off the narrative voice. That none of that can allow a shift, because the shift has to come about through the revelation of untruth, doesn't it? Of that conceptual reality not having any basis of actual veracity. And that's a real peak experience, and it's not bypass, because what's happened now is that that belief structure, it might come back, but it's weakened. There's a space of shift, that in that crossover between true and patently not true, there cannot be that same tenacity of belief and conviction. This idea of me just cannot be as real as it was before. And so that's absolutely not spiritual bypass, to be in the feelings, to be in the experience, to have this open attention of real inquiry, isn't it? I mean, really, that's the health of the system. Genuine inquiry. What is actually true here? And this revelation that what might have been believed for our entire life, this projection that might have been overlaid on every single relationship we've ever had, now is losing its legs. And this for me is health in action. This is sanity, And it doesn't matter, the suffering might be immense in it, doesn't matter. This is peace. Yeah, really, we're in the midst of the experience that we've spent our whole lives trying to avoid, and it's peace. It's sanity, it's reality, it's truth, it's healing, it's health. It's ultimately freedom from that cycle of re-traumatization. It's yeah, this is the gold here. This is the treasure. Yeah, so brilliant. Lots of love, darling. Bye.